Buongiorno and welcome to my channel. My name is Stefania if you're new here. So every few months I like to kind of do product updates. I know that I always wonder when someone does a first impression of something and then you never see them use it again. You're like, did they actually like it, or are they just giving out outstanding reviews? So now that I've used all this stuff a little bit more, I have my thoughts together and I will let you know what I think was worth buying, if I returned anything, all that good stuff. But yeah, I don't receive anything in PR, therefore I spend a lot of money on makeup, too much money on makeup, so I want to let you guys know things that I really recommend buying that was worth the money, things that I maybe had to return, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, please don't forget to subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. And let's go ahead and hop into this product reviews. All right, I got this eucalyptus and sage candle going, and I'm just like, it is nice. I usually go for like sweeter smells, but I'm like, this is relaxing. I feel very spa-ish. Like, I really like it. Besides the point, I need to relax right now. I'm just like, this is my calming time. I told you guys, like, my sister's here, and it's always fun, but like, my mom has the ability to make me feel like I'm still 12. You know what I mean? Like, when I say I have to work, or like, hey mom, I really need a few hours to film, she's just kind of like, is that important? Do you need to do that? And like, the guilt trip, she should have a freaking degree or like an Oscar in that. Okay, I love her. But yes. Anyways, okay, so things I've been using. I have a better idea. You guys know that certain things I get samples of and I test them out to see what I think of them. So let's start with Bite Beauty. Unfortunately, I feel like the more I used it, the more I was like, I definitely used it more than that once. There was at least 4 tries in that sample, so I went through the whole thing. When I found that I prepped my skin a little bit differently and didn't prep it with just the hydrating primer, it was better. Not that it was bad. Like, I don't think it's a bad foundation. I think people maybe with like oily skin might really like it. Not that I'm kind of like combo skin, you know? I'm not very dry. I have little dry patches, but for the most part, I've been pretty good. I've been using all my Korean stuff, and I'm convincing myself that it's working. I don't know if it's all in my head, but it doesn't rank high for me. Like, it's not one that after trying all the samples, I'm like, oh, I'm going to purchase that. I'm definitely like, no, I think I'm good. I just have a lot more foundations that I liked. I talked about that in that video where I'm just like, I like a either full coverage look or I go for a more skin-like look, and that kind of just sat in between for me. It didn't make me look super matte or super luminous, but it just took a long time to like make me feel like I had a healthy glow, if that makes sense. Like, for me, it leaned more on the matte side, but not full coverage, and that's usually what I go for if I'm going to go for a matte look. So for me, I just feel like it's a little overpriced for what it is, and I wouldn't say I recommend it compared to anything else. And also remember, it's their first time releasing these products, so I'm sure, kind of like Fenty, you know, like there was a lot when people were like, oh, it's a matte foundation, and then eventually they came out with a hydrating version. So, I mean, can't really compare the two because I actually like both of those Fenty foundations, but I'm just saying, maybe once the brand kind of gets their footing in these kind of things, that would be better. I also brought up the fact that I am just like, please remove the fragrance. If you're gonna market it X clean at Sephora, we don't need fragrance in anything. That's just how I feel now. Not necessarily because I get super irritated. I just feel like it's unnecessary. And if it could possibly irritate me, why even take the chance when so many people are actually irritated? So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's one I would, even on sale, probably go back and repurchase. I have other ones that I'm like, they did something for me where I got excited. Where I was like, oh, I look good today. Whereas I wear that one and I'm like, I look okay today. It's not anything, you know, to write home about. So there are those. e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer. The e.l.f. products I have really been enjoying. I am very impressed by the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer. I did a whole review on, well, not a review, I did a first impressions on this. It wears great, very nice and hydrating. I haven't tried the other one, but I didn't want to because I was like, I want the hydrating one. I don't need my eyes to be crusty. So yeah, I highly, highly recommend the e.l.f. concealer. And even though I'm like, I miss the $3 days of e.l.f., they no longer exist. And we just have to complain and move on. But I also have really, really been liking the powder, the Halo setting powder. Halo Glow setting powder. I don't like glow underneath my eyes, and I don't use a lot of powder. So for me, I got the dark shade, which is perfect for the perimeters of my face. Is like where I would put on bronzer, especially on days where I'm going for a light coverage day. I will just put on the setting powder in the areas that I would put on a bronzer and then call it a day and be done. So I really like the dark shade a lot. So those are the two things I would definitely say, you know, if you run into Target for groceries, pick up one of those. Next up, I think in the Sephora haul, I've used all this stuff in videos for sure. So definitely, you know, if you want an in-depth look at that. But Patrick Ta line, I really am liking it. The first release from his, I didn't buy anything. I was like, I know me. I'm too messy to use that spray-on highlighter. I'm not fancy enough for a fan. I would buy it because it looks pretty, and then I would never use it. Or I'd step on it and it would break. Okay, I'm just that kind of person. Not to say I will never get it, but I'm just like, think about this. So the blush I got is She's Sincere. I've talked about this multiple times where I'm like, okay, like it's a very light wash. It looks very nice on the skin. But I'm surprised that so many people like it, just considering how light it is. Like, it works for me because I don't love blushes, but you guys can see like, like it almost looks like it's not even there. Like, you really have to build it up if you want it to show. But again, perfect for someone like me who really doesn't like blush that much. I'm like, light application works for me. So kind of on the fence in terms of like saying everybody would like it. I don't think so. Next up, we have a few of the Natasha Denona products. So I got the Mini Gold and the Mini Glam. I'm going to say it, hands down, I like the Mini Glam better. I have bought this after it, and I have used it way more compared to this one. And I need to reach for this. I just think sometimes, I don't know what it is. I just don't know if I love this tone, like all these tones together in my eyes. So it's one where I more pick up for like one specific shade. But let me open them up for you guys. But I would say between the two, I mean, this one's a little bit more unique because you have like the army greens, you know? Whereas this one, it's cool toned, but we don't really see a lot of cool tone palettes. So I feel okay saying that. And I'm not usually a cool tone girl by any means. I'm a warm girl, okay? But I really actually like, don't pay attention to my hands. I really, really like the Mini Glam compared to this one. I'm just getting more use out of this. There's times where I'm like, I need more unique things because I have so much makeup, but I still end up using the more boring things more. So I'm not upset about any of them in terms of quality-wise. I'm just more like, you know, I use this more. My only thing when using this is, you know, sometimes Natasha Denona shades, they don't build up as deep as they look in the pan. So you do have to work with this a little bit more. Like the brown looks really, really deep. And it is a deep brown, but like once it's blended out, you do have to build it, which it builds nicely. But I just thought I would kind of show you guys. But yeah, look at that. You gotta go in and build it up. And then this shade right here really doesn't do much on my eyes, so I can only imagine that it probably doesn't show up on deeper skin tones. So those are like my only ifs, but they're beautiful palettes. I very much prefer these little minis compared to like the 5-pan ones that are $48. Like, I don't do that. I either do her big palettes or I do these. There's no in between for me. So next we have a few things. We have a lot of Fenty to talk about. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't used these Snap Shadows a whole lot. And I mean, I only got them, what, like 2-3 weeks ago? So I don't have a lot to say. I kind of said everything I needed to in that video in terms of swatching and whatever, but I do like it. I thought that I would hate this whole snap thing, but when I do my makeup, I like that it's something to like heavier to hold. So I feel like these are really good, like everyday palettes. The ones I got are Cadet. I still really like this. If it didn't have this shade, I probably wouldn't have got it. I love this shade. The only thing in these that I'm not in here for, and like I said, when I did swatches at the store, I don't think they're all created equal by any means. But they have a mix of like these metallics and satins and mattes, and the satins aren't my favorite. They're just not. So the metallics though, I'm like, yes. The satins, I'm a little bit like, meh, I'm okay about them. So here we go. Like that did not swatch well. But those are like just a few tones in the Cadet. And then the peachy one, I'm a sucker for peach palettes. So, yeah, I gotta open this side, not that side. Come on. I really like this one. But when I compared, I mean, like I said, I've already done swatches of these. But I don't love like the satin mix in them. I really like the first shade of each palette. But I like them. I feel like they were a good job. So I'm not upset that I got two. Would I pick up more? Probably not. Just based off of where my collection is right now. Like these were the two that I really wanted. And then I was a little bit like, Stefania, because, you know, when I saw the ColourPop, like I compared just to like the Kathleen Lights, the Cadet one was very similar. But it's for some reason I'm just so much more like I want to use this more because of the size. Like the larger pan palettes, when people are like, oh, I hope ColourPop keeps coming out with like these giant palettes. And I'm like, I don't. I find them to just be too overwhelming. Too like, I don't know. It's like watching into Forever 21 for me. It's just stressful. I don't know. And then the Patrick Ta lip liners. These I really, really like. So this is I actually have this on right now. What is this shade called? She's Proud. I really, really like these. They're unique in the term of like they're a click up pen and then the shape of the tip. Just the tip. So that is She's Proud, like just a neutral liner, but it does stay really well. But you guys can kind of see like, I think you're either going to, I'm indifferent about the shape of the top. Like I still kind of turn it on its side to use it like a regular pencil in terms of how I use it. So, meh. And they're a little pricey, so I definitely was glad I got those ones for a BAB. I highly recommend doing that for a lot of things. Okay, I got a few more things to talk about. Jaclyn Hill's highlighters. I am getting a ton of use out of this. Whether you want to support her or not, totally your personal decision. But I actually really like this. My one thing is I still don't understand. I think they're all still on the website. The whole limited edition aspect of it. I'm like, why? Why don't you have some staple products? Why do influencer brands keep doing this, you know? But I actually get a lot of use out of this and the loose highlighters. Are they unique by any means? Not really. But I feel like I actually use all the shades in this. Like if I just need an inner corner highlight real quick, like I get a use out of all 4 of the shades. So in that aspect, I'm like, I'm actually getting my money's worth out of it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that I bought them and I don't regret it. I use it almost every day, I would say. Like even if I'm just doing no makeup, some concealer, I don't want to think about anything. I just throw in a highlight and then the inner corner and I'm done. So I like that. Next up, we got Pat McGrath. I have this on my eyes today. That is what I'm wearing. And then I use the Ritualistic Rose on top, like that palette on top of it. So I really love this palette. And the reason why I made that face is just because this whole collection release, the way the shipping, like just the whole company, like was just kind of like, what is going on here? And I really thought they were going to bring it back. Like I was like, okay, every brand does that. Like let's sell out. It's limited edition. 5 days later, somehow we have a lot more stock and here we go. So I thought that this would maybe take a month, but I thought it was going to come back and it hasn't. So I feel bad even talking about it because I'm just like, I don't know if they're ever coming back with it. But I think this is gorgeous. The only thing that I had a problem with was the first shade of the palette. It does not show up on me at all. Like, that's the first shade. And for a Pat McGrath palette, I'm like, what is that? So, and I can't even complain that much because I emailed the company and I was like, hey, because I saw other people's reviews on it and theirs was fine. So I must have just gotten a really dud shade. And they emailed me back and they were like, here's a refund. Like and I didn't ask for a refund. I just said like, hey, is there any way I can exchange it? And they're like, we don't have any left. So here's a refund and we're really sorry. And I was just like, So they answered me within a day. So my personal experience was great, but I also try to think of like what I'm recommending to you guys. And I hope that their customer service now is like back on track. I think they just, I don't know, were overwhelmed with Black Friday. So yeah, I mean, I love Pat, okay? I just do. So I still really am enjoying this regardless of the one shade. And I was really happy with the way that they handled things. Same thing with Jaclyn Hill. Like I talked about, the customer service has gotten way better. I love that you can call now and talk to a real person. I'm an old person, okay? I appreciate that way more than trying to email back and forth and getting the automated response and then waiting days. And it just, yeah, I love having a phone number to call. And I'm like, please help me. I understand. So I think that is about it. The only other thing, I am loving the Fenty eyeliners, like the colorful eyeliners. I've been using those for a week now. So I don't have a lot to say on them, but I've been using them almost every day and I haven't had any bad reactions, which usually my eyeliners just, I'm very picky about which colorful ones I can use. And my eyes like those. So that is a win for me. And I highly recommend if you're looking for colored eyeliners, between that and the Marc Jacobs, like, yes. And my Linda Hallberg. I also love hers. So the only thing that from Fenty that I'm going to say is a miss, I didn't really love the mascara. I've used it a few more times. Luckily, I just got this little like trial size one, which was free with like a $25 purchase. And I'll use it because I have it. And I don't mind it for my bottom lashes, especially because of like the whole flat side of the wand situation. But would I pay $25? Nope. It doesn't beat my CoverGirl. If you guys want to see a video, I did do one eye with the CoverGirl mascara that I love, the Exhibitionist, and I did one eye with the Fenty. And this definitely doesn't outperform my top two favorites, which are the CoverGirl and Lancome. And like, especially mascara, it's the one thing where I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I have no reason to like pay for this one. So those are ones that I'm always like, once I find a staple mascara, it's a staple mascara. So I like that I'm able to try it, and they go bad so fast that it's almost like you don't need an abundance of them. So yeah, I'm okay about it, but would I recommend paying $25? Not really. I wouldn't, like I said, it's just average to me. It's not bad, it's not amazing. Meh about it. But yeah, that is, I believe that's it. The only thing that I really was like bleh about, I did return my House Labs palette. I did not like that at all. So there was that review on it. It wasn't like it was awful, but it was very lackluster, and I just feel like there's not really room for that anymore. So yeah, I returned that. And then, my biggest, like my favorite purchases lately were definitely the Sonia G brushes. I'm sure the Sky Eye set is going to come back soon, and I just wanted to update you guys, and like, I love Sonia G brushes. I haven't gotten the Sky face set. I really want it, but I just feel like I can't justify spending that much money for like, you know, like the highlighting brush in it isn't something I really want to use, and then I already have her Sculpt one, so I'm waiting for them to come out individually, but I really want it. I really want it, you guys. But they are an investment for sure. But I love the experience of brushes. So the Sky Eye set, I feel like if you want more of a detailed look, this is a great set. I also have her Pro Eye set, which is also great. If you're going to go for between, it just kind of depends. I think the blue set is better for hooded lids because the brushes are a little tinier. Whereas the red one, I still get a lot of use out of them. The Builder Pro, I think, is my favorite of all Sonia G brushes. Well, like eye brushes. But yeah, it kind of just depends on what you're looking for. But either way, I feel like you can't really go wrong. But yeah, they're my favorite, one of my favorite purchases I've ever made in terms of whatever. And I feel justified spending the money because unlike an eyeshadow palette, I'm like, I use brushes every day. So yeah, That is it for me though. Those are my rapid, they weren't that rapid. I talked a lot, I'm sorry. But I hope you guys find this useful. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. If I forgot some stuff, let me know. But what have you guys been loving lately? I would love to hear it. Please don't forget to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.